what we're going to dive into today. My name is Marlon Sanders. If you don't know me, I've been doing this full time since 1997. What I do is help you figure out how you can go full time, just like I am. And today, what we're discussing is the 10 commandments of always having money via your marketing. And this is important because a lot of businesses, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of online business owners have up and down income. And it's very stressful, and it can cause you to be out of the business because you don't have that feeling of certainty that you can rely, on what you're doing. So that's why I've developed a presentation. I'm recording it today. It is called the 10 Commandments of Always Having Money Framework. And you can see the parts of the framework right here on the screen. Thou shalt always be a learner, shalt not forsake lead gen, build before sunset, 20%, only 20% on bright and shiny. AI is a tool. Only one low ticket at all times. Money's in the list, the grease shoot, automated funnels, and multiple poles in the water. These are the 10 commandments. These are actually so important. We're going to start reciting these in my Wednesday night fast track coaching at the beginning of every meeting, because that's just how important that I think they are. Obviously, I can't cover all 10 today. So what I just wanted to do is go ahead and take one of these that I feel is the most important, and that is thou shalt not forsake thy lead gen. It's kind of like this and be a learner always are two that are just absolutely essential, right? But we're going to talk right now today about not forsaking your lead gen. And I got a lot to say about this, but the main thing is just this: know how and where you're going to get your leads, track and see if it's working. If it's working, improve, and it's not working, then you got to change something, right? But a lot of times, a lot of people don't really know or don't pay attention, don't think about it that much. And, and you can do that sometimes for months, sometimes for years, but sooner or later that catches up with, I've seen people say things like, oh, well, I just stopped running ads to generate leads or doing things to generate leads, and I'm just focusing on taking care of my customers and word of mouth and referrals. Well, that sounds good in theory, but in practicality, that usually is the path to Hades in a handbasket. Over time, it works in the short term. The problem is we ain't in business for the short term. We're in business for the long term. And the problem is that strategy doesn't really work. It doesn't really work long term. So what are your lead generation methods that you are doing daily? Now, right now, I'm generating leads, because if you're watching this and you don't have my 4 free reports, you can get them by going to resellertoolkit.com/leads and sales. I give you 4 my best free reports on how to generate leads and get sales. If you don't have my seed marketing report, it's at marlonsanders.com. So I got free reports for you that also generate leads and opt-ins to my list for me. But if you don't have those free reports, go grab them, because these are really quality, really good free reports. All right. So how are you generating leads? Do you have an email capture page, more than one email capture page? Do you have a freebie, more than one freebie? Are you doing online challenges? Are you doing a webinar? How is it that people get on your list? Now, I'm going to tell you a secret. And I learned this about Facebook groups. Like, I'm going to throw one more URL at you, which you normally only want to give out one URL, but what the heck, I'm allowed to break the rules. And that is, if you're not in my Facebook group, I don't even know what to tell you. The Facebook group is just is a ton of value in there. And it's facebook.com/group/Marlon Sanders. It's very simple to get in there. And you need to get in there. And the reason I'm telling you this and mentioning this is because if you have a Facebook group and you're not mentioning it too much, that people need to go join it, and telling them, go in your files, go in your guides, and you got goodies in there for them, which I do, free goodies. If you're not doing that and doing it too much, then you're making a mistake. You're under promoting it. The same thing with your free opt-ins. If you aren't like feel like personally you feel like you're overdoing talking about your lead magnets and your free opt-ins, then you're not doing enough. If you don't feel like you're giving away too much on your lead magnets, or the lead magnets are too good to give away, you're probably not doing enough on it, right? And so it's the mindset of I got to generate leads daily. I got to talk about my opt-in daily, my lead magnet. I got to talk about my Facebook group and why people should join it daily. Tell them about what you have in guides. Tell them about what you have in files, right? So always be promoting. This is the attitude of the lead generation, because if you don't do it daily, you're going to, it's easy to put it off. Oh, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll do that next week. I'll do that next month or whatever. And then tomorrow never comes. You've probably been there. I've been there. I think we've all been there, and it just doesn't work. What works is the daily commitment of, okay, let me see. This morning I checked to see how many leads I got overnight. You got to check and see, okay, if I didn't get leads, then what am I going to do to get them? If I did get leads, how do I improve what worked to get more, right? And the beauty of this is you can see what works. You can go, okay, I'm going to go do this little 1 minute lead generation method. I have a 1 minute lead generation method. I'm going to go do this 1 minute lead generation method and see, does it get me leads? I'm going to give away my book, free plus shipping, my amazing ad copy book. I'm going to do that and see what happens. Or I'm not doing this one free plus shipping now. This is actually for another purpose, but I have some books I'm going to put out free plus shipping, right? Anyway, you get to track and see, does it work? Does it generate leads? How much do those leads produce, right? And so if we were to boil this down into just simple steps, let's go ahead and make this practical, because I know people hate stuff that's theoretical. So number one is you got to have your freebie or freebies, your lead magnets, whatever it is that you want to call them. Number two, that includes your Facebook group. Again, mine's facebook.com/group/Marlon Sanders. If you're not mentioning that URL too much, you're probably making a mistake. Now, I'm not saying you can't overdo it. You can, but most people don't. Most people don't talk about their lead magnets enough. Most people don't talk about their opt-ins enough. Most people don't talk about, if they have a Facebook group, they don't talk about their Facebook group enough. Or if you're on LinkedIn, your LinkedIn group or whatever. The point is that you think you're promoting too much, but people out there, you're under promoting because they don't hear a quarter of the stuff that you do. Which reminds me, if you want to get my next training, you need to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. Otherwise, the chances that you're going to see a Facebook notification about my next live stream are probably, snowball's chance in Hades. So you got to overdo the communication of your freebie. And then step number 3 is being consistent with it. Be consistent with it and have what I call, this is one of our 10 commandments. It's on our 10 commandments list here. You'll see it's called it's over here at the bottom, having multiple poles in the water. You got to have multiple poles in the water for your lead generation. I'm just going to give you one example. I have a little program. I'm going to take today my YouTube, this YouTube video I'm doing right now. I'm going to take the URL of it. I'm going to stick it in this program. I'm going to click a button, and it's going to create a bulleted list for a Twitter thread that's just freaking awesome. And I'll click another button and it'll schedule it to go out. How freaking awesome is that? I click another button, it turns into a newsletter that I can post on Facebook, and I'll probably do that. Now, I want to tell you why I feel this is so important. And the reason is, every day you're losing people off your email list. More so than ever before, I think, because in the past, the Gmail wasn't so strict on delivery and like everything else. They make it, easy for everyone. Oh, it's free. It's easy. It's great. And then they just, like a boa constrictor, they just start clamping down over time, right? So your emails aren't getting delivered. People are unsubscribing because there's a lot of emails and so forth. So number one, you just have to counter that. And I mean, I know this is true because I had 200 something thousand emails on my customer list, right? On my list. Well, my autoresponder comes along and tells me I have to get rid of like 200,000 of them because the open rate wasn't good. They didn't say they weren't being open. They said the open rate wasn't good enough. And that cut my income in half or by 70% from that autoresponder source, right? But you can't do a lot about it today. That's how they are. If they say you can't mail these people, you can't mail. Now, you can try to take them to another service or do other things with them. You probably should. But anyway, this is why you've got to have this focus on your lead generation. And that's why it's one of the 10 commandments. Thou shalt not forsake thy lead generation. I know it sounds like I'm ranting or preaching or something. I'm really not. This is just true. I know this in the personal experience. I had to dump like 200,000 people. That and a lot of those people opened. A lot of those people clicked. They just didn't do it often enough to make the autoresponder company happy. And it breaks my heart I had to do that. But so I got 200,000 people that I have to replace, if that makes sense. So this is why you can never let you see, what happens is people think they can take the foot off the gas on their lead generation. Oh, I got all these customers. Oh, I can barely keep up with business. Oh, there's too much demand. Oh, I'm famous now. Oh, I'm invited to speak at these virtual summits or this, that, or the other. And I don't have time for that anymore. Well, Coach Burt says there comes a time when winter asks what you did all spring and summer, because the winter will come. If you're doing that, the winter will come. You'll be, and you know, it's going to be like, well, winter asks, what did you do all spring and summer? You weren't planting seeds. You weren't nurturing. You weren't getting new people onto your list. You weren't nurturing them and taking care of them. And now you're paying for it, right? So anyway, these are my, this is one of my 10 commandments. Like I said, I'm doing a whole presentation on these, and it's going to be blockbuster. It's going to be a dynamite. When I get it out, I'll be putting it on my videos so that you'll be able to go and watch it. You really just need to be on my list. If you go to marlonsanders.com, you get my free seed marketing report. You'll be on my list. So when I send out, when this video presentation is ready, and I put a lot, I mean, I've been working on this thing now for, gosh, I don't know, 3 or 4 days. It's very detailed and has a lot of really, I put as much meat into it as I could. I don't want this just to be, oh, you listen to it and you're like, oh, well, that was a bunch of fluff, right? No, I want it to be where you listen to it and you're like, wow, I really got my value out of that. All right. Thank you for watching today. Oh, let me just go check and see if we have comments today. I always like to try to do this. Let's go see here. See what's up in my chat world today. See if we got comments. All right, great. Thank you all for joining me, and I'll be back tomorrow with another live stream.